Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another Raid video. This video will be all about the news that Raid is being now sold to MTG, so a game company out of Sweden. And well, this is not really news. You've probably seen videos already on this, but what you probably have not seen is something that may lead to a new version of Raid coming in soon. I don't know, 2025. I don't know. There's only little bit of details found online about this, and I'll explain what I mean. Just stick with the video, guys. I'll explain what I mean. So as you guys may have seen already with other creators, MTG acquires Plium, developer of global #1 mobile Raid Shadow Legends, and strengthens mobile gaming position. They paid tons of money. I'm talking $620 million, in which 20 million of those is deferred to 2026, plus conditional another 200 million if they hit some targets by 2028 or something, from what I've read. The really important thing that the video is gonna dive into a little bit about this is, as you go down this press release from MTG, this is their own page from MTG, is somewhere here on the bottom, where it basically explains Raid's plans for the future. It's right here. So the studio's most successful titles genre leading Raid Shadow Legends. The game has launched since 2019. Blah, 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 blah. But Raid Shadow Legends is available on a cross-platform basis, and Plium has recently started collaborating with Chinese developer NetEase to launch the game in China and in key Asian markets in the future. So this is where the whole video is going to be based about. What does this mean for Raid? When a company partners together with a Chinese developer, basically they're telling Raid, okay, we want to launch this game to China. And if you guys know anything about games being launched globally, they don't mean China. China is a whole different playing field. To launch a game in China, you need a separate Chinese developer to actually take your game. They're gonna make their own servers, their own player base, different login codes, and only Chinese players will be able to be fighting against each other. You will not be facing Chinese players. So there's going to be Raid Global and Raid China, basically. I highly doubt that there is any chance of those two coming in together, and we'll be able to see the Chinese whales fighting against us. What does this mean to Raid, okay? There's two games that I know of, that from a little bit of research that I've done, that have done this already with NetEase. Or Netmarble. Basically, one of them is, if you guys have seen Diablo Immortal Ever, it is a mobile game of the Diablo genre, but it is completely developed by NetEase. And on the China region, they also run it. They have their own servers, their own support team, their own EULA, their own events, and their own content on top of what everyone else gets. So what does this mean for Raid? If we have a look in Raid Shadow Legends, a good example of what they will be changing for the launch of the game will be completely, basically changing any Undead Hordes champions that you see right now. They'll change it. You won't see UDK anymore. They'll completely change UDK. They might even change the name, or just close off the helmet completely, maybe hide the arms. You are not allowed to show skeletons in games of in any games launched in China. You're not allowed to show any blood. So any champions which might show some sort of blood, like Blood Gorge right here, he'll be completely changed. Anything that does not stand with what the Chinese government finds suitable for video games, that will be changed if Raid Shadow Legends is to be launched in China. So there's going to be Raid Shadow Legends Global, and then the other Raid Shadow Legends, okay? So that's what's really going to happen. Lots of champions will get changed, but they will not happen on the global servers. That is certain, in my opinion. So that Raid 2.0 or Raid, China version is going to be a little bit different, but still, they will also have their own events. So when the Chinese New Year comes, for example, they're going to have Chinese New Year events, but I think we'll also be getting them on the global server, because any development that they put in the Chinese servers, I don't think they're going to say, oh, we might as well not launch it on global, because they'll probably do that in order to just limit some of the costs, because they'll say, okay, the global team will work on this. There's going to be like a huge list of things that they're not allowed to do based on China's demands. They'll say, okay, fine, we won't do that. And they'll just launch, specific champions on how it's acceptable to the Chinese developers as well. So they cut on costs like that. I doubt they'll have a separate Chinese team for that to do the champions, and they'll have like a Chinese Rotos or whatever, and then we won't have them. I don't think they'll be splitting the game so much. So events will likely be very similar, but what will certainly be visible to us as global players is what you've seen right now, like a pack offer. The Chinese players will have pack offers more than us, okay, many more offers than us, and also the pricing will be much different than what we have in our own game. From what I've seen, pricing in video games that that Netmarble does or NetEase, they price them much different. They give a lot more things sometimes in order to entice players to spend more, because they have such a huge player base that they care about the numbers rather than just getting one player to be like a huge whale. They still have those, but they want to see huge numbers of players just doing small purchases like $20 or something, or Chinese yuan, or whatever their currency is. Yeah, it's Chinese yuan. So you'll see packs, and you compare packs between the global version and the Chinese version. If this happens at any point, where the pack offers, let's say instead of $1 for 1 shard, you get $1 for 5 shards or something. Obviously, that is subject to whatever they think is right, but you guys get what I mean. The pack offers will be different. Obviously, everything will be in their own language, and the game will be developed on like separate paths, as it might seem, but the main game will stay the same. What I want to see though is just faster paced development. They have 2 teams working on development. Maybe the Chinese team is actually faster than what the current team is, and once they get more money rolling coming into Raid, we'll have a much faster development cycle, more changes to champions. So, and instead of visual changes, which will happen on the Chinese version, we'll also have normal changes like balancing changes, and those are very likely to be covering both games. So like the global version and the Chinese version of Raid. So I am more than optimistic about this. Obviously, I don't know whether this is going to go through, because as we see from the article, there's nothing really concrete about this, but this is coming from mtg.com. Okay, so this is the site of the Swedish company that purchased Raid. They already know all of this information, okay, about their market size in Europe and North America, with all the purchases that they've done, as European market and North American market so far. So getting into the Chinese market is gonna be huge, and not just Chinese, also Japan, also smaller countries like Thailand. They love playing the games. I'm currently in Thailand right now, and I see lots of people just playing on their phones in the metro, or when they're just sitting at 7-Eleven or something. They're just on their phones playing different games. And I've even noticed, like on my phone, there's like something on TikTok which is like specific campaigns for video games within just the country of Thailand. So these countries love video games, and they don't know anything about Raid yet. So once that happens, Raid will become an even bigger game than it is right now, hopefully. But again, that is not certain, but at least the communication is there, and there is a collaboration already starting with NetEase in order to launch the game. So that is those are my thoughts. I completely feel like this will be good for the game, but until then, everything is just speculation. So that's it, guys, for today's video. I just wanted to go over this, which might have been something that other creators have overlooked, covering the recent purchase of Plarium by MTG. If you just see the revenue that Plarium has, comparing it to the whole of MTG, the combined revenue together of these now 2 companies will be huge, and it's just gonna make it like a monster into the playing field. I don't see Raid stopping anytime soon for the next 5 years. I think Raid will still be here, will still be around, similar to other games such as Summoner's War, which is huge. And although their graphics are outdated, if you compare it to other games, they still, rule that part of their market in terms of being a mobile game. So that's it for today, guys. Leave your comments down below. I want to see your opinions. If you played any of these games like Brawl Stars or Diablo Immortal, that they have their own versions in China, that you might know a little bit more about this whole thing, leave your comments down below. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.